I have made a video over the Don't Hug Me I'm Scared TV show, but recently I realized that I forgot to do one over the YouTube series. I was gonna make a video on it, but I just kind of forgot about it. Which is a shame, because even though I like the TV series more, the YouTube series shows where it all began. The pure dedication and creativity from the creators Becky Sloan and Joseph Pelling is astounding. That goes for the entire team who worked on the series as well. Truth be told, there are way better videos on YouTube describing the history leading up and during the series, but I just want to focus on the content and give my opinion on it. I will also be ranking the episodes. So, let's get started at the very beginning with Don't Hug Me I'm Scared, creativity. Creativity is great. This was the first Don't Hug Me I'm Scared content ever released, and I'm just dumbfounded how they nailed it on the first try. To start off creativity, we see 3 characters whose names are never specified in the series, so I'll call them Red Guy, Yellow Guy, and Duck. We see them sitting at a table, and on the table a notebook opens up and starts singing to them about creativity. At first, it feels like a relatively normal kids show like Sesame Street, but as the song goes on, there are hints of depravity under the surface. Like when the notebook asks what the group's favorite colors are. Yellow says green, and the notebook says
green is not a creative color.
Or when Yellow Guy paints a picture of a clown and the notebook is like, "Aw, hell nah, you did not just paint that," and pours black paint on it. That moment is creepy, but also funny, with how long they hold the shot for, which is accompanied by no sounds except for the paint dripping. The song continues, and then the gang gets creative. And by getting creative, I mean they turn into these weird human puppet hybrids and start doing wacky things like dancing, putting glitter on a heart, and spelling out death. There's also some gore, with this gross looking meat cake, and meat crawling back into the wall. Ugh.
What the hell is even that?
Then the short ends with the gang back to normal, and the notebook says that they should never be creative again. The creators obviously didn't take that advice. So yeah, this first short was fantastic. You can tell how much passion went into it, especially since they didn't expect it to blow up like it did. I love the song. It's just really catchy. Then there's the subversion of it seemingly being a kid's show, but then it goes off the rails towards the end with horror. It's just so good. The designs of the puppets are also really good, except for Yellow Guy. They did him dirty, but he's fixed in the next short, so that's good. The set is also really cool with a lot of things made out of felt. Then there's the eeriness of it all. From the gore to the uncomfortable pauses, it creates a feeling of uneasiness, and I love it. It's no wonder why this thing blew up. Right now, creativity is on the top of the ranking list, which isn't hard because it's the only one, but still. Now, let's move on to time. Time was the perfect follow-up to the first short. This time, the gang are in their living room waiting for their favorite show to start.
You never know what's gonna save your life, so you gotta load up on everything.
Then a clock comes off the wall and starts to sing about time. I love him. He's probably my favorite teacher in either series. His design is fantastic and his voice is just perfect. Especially when he starts to sing all high pitch, I just love it.
Let's go on a journey through all time.
Unlike the first short, there are multiple settings like a forest, a weird futuristic room, and even an animated segment, which is neat. As it goes on, the clock starts to get more and more fed up. Then the gang starts to discuss if time is even real, and Duck starts to explain his theory on it.
It's just a theory.
But the clock isn't having any of it and does what any good arguer would do. It makes a high-pitched noise that is so high that it makes Yellow Guy's ears bleed. Then he goes on singing and states how strange it is how much time makes your appearance change. Then the gang starts to age rapidly and decay, and it's just so gross. But it's also really well done. Like, look at this. This is super impressive for a YouTube short film. And then it turns out the show that the gang wanted to watch was actually everything that just happened. What's there to say about time? I say this is the perfect example for a Don't Hug Me I'm Scared episode. We start off with a seemingly well-meaning teacher singing a catchy song, but it eventually devolves into the gang getting scarred for life. We also get introduced to Yellow Guy's dad, Roy, who is watching, you know, porn.
Look at the time.
He will become more important later on, so don't forget about him. I love this short. I definitely like this one more than creativity, so time is going to the top of the ranking list. Let's take a quick break to look at the Kickstarter videos that the crew did so that they could earn more money to fund more episodes of the series. To promote the Kickstarter, they uploaded 2 videos of Red Guy, Yellow Guy, and Duck seemingly being held captive by this thing, and if they don't reach the goal, they'll be killed. That's a really funny and creepy way to promote a Kickstarter. I love the design of the captor. It's really creepy, especially paired with his voice. So, of course they reached their goal. Now, let's move on to the next short. Love. In love, we see the gang having a nice chicken picnic, and a butterfly flies by, which yellow guy is quite fond of. Then of course, Duck, being the way he is, swats the butterfly, making yellow upset, and he runs off. This is the first short that actually starts to give the main trio personality, even though it's mostly yellow guy, with them showing he's kinda the kid of the group, and also really stupid. So yellow climbs a tree and cries like a bitch, and then a butterfly type creature comes in to cheer him up. He starts to sing about love and plans to take yellow guy to his friends. They are now on a cloud island with all of the butterfly's friends, and we get one of my favorite moments of the YouTube series, the story of Michael. To prove that everyone has a person who loves them, the butterfly tells yellow guy the story of Michael. He's a boy who everyone hates because he's ugly and he lives in a hole in the ground. Then the story ends with Michael shedding a tear. And this guy says everyone has a special one.
Even Michael!
I just find it really funny due to how Michael clearly has no one who loves him. He's just like me. FR. FR. Maybe the hole in the ground loves Michael. Who knows? I don't know why. It's just so funny to me. Okay? We also get to see that Red Guy and Duck have eaten all of their chicken picnic and now are wondering if they should help their friend or not. What great friends. Yes, you heard that right. Duck ate chicken. Don't worry, he gets his comeuppance for this later in the series. Then, of course, the big don't hug me I'm scared twist comes in, and it turns out all these people are in a cult about love and want to indoctrinate Yellow into it. We see their leader Malcolm, whose design is amazing. They start to explain the rules of joining the cult, like having to forget everything and wear a ring. They also have to feed Malcolm gravel to appease him, which is a really funny detail. They could have made it gross and done like guts or something, but no, it's gravel. We even get to see the teachers from the previous episodes in the background, but now they are all black and white. Duck and Red Guy are there too. Neat. Anyways, Yellow Guy wakes up and it appears to be all a dream. Duck and Red are there and they give him the last boiled egg, which, that's so sweet. Red Guy even says that they love him. Aww. Then the egg hatches and this monstrosity comes out. And it ends with Duck rightfully swatting this thing and saying his iconic line.
Pesky bee?
During the end credits, they burn Malcolm. No! Why would you do that? I would pay a lot of money to have him. Ugh. This was a great episode, but there's one thing I don't like about it. It is all a dream. Well, it might not be a dream. Maybe Yellow Guy rejected them and they sent him back to the tree. No, it's a dream. I don't care what you say. I just don't like that none of it actually happened. But that's just a nitpick since everything in this world already feels like a dream anyways, so it doesn't feel as cheap as other shows. Like imagine if it turned out that Breaking Bad was just a dream. That would suck. Quick side tangent. I hate the theories where it's like this person was in a coma the whole time. Like with Adventure Time. There's a popular theory that Finn was in a coma the whole show because there's a lot of weird things that happen. It's just so stupid. Okay, tangent over. The song is my favorite of the YouTube series. It sounds so good. There's not much horror here, except for the gore with the aftermath of the chicken dinner and the worm creature, but this episode makes up for that by being funny as hell.
Love you too, fairy boy.
Harder.
Then there's the sets. They are leagues better due to the money that they received from the Kickstarter. Mostly everything is made out of felt and I just love how it looks. Just an overall good episode. In terms of the ranking, I say it's below time but above creativity. Now, on to, I didn't know what to call this next short because it's a lesson about using a computer. The other shorts are really easy to come up with names since they're lessons like time and love. I'll just call it Computer. You did good, Ashton. You did good. Before we get into Computer, I'd just like to say if you are enjoying the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Also, if you want more content from me for some reason, I have a second channel where I'm doing a Binding of Isaac Eden streak, where I just talk about random things like updates about the main channel, movies, TV shows, and more. So if you want to see that, the link's in the description. Anyways, let's get back to the video. Computer starts off with the gang playing a board game that asks the question, what's the biggest thing in the world? Yellow Guy says stuff like a mountain or a windmill, and of course Duck being base tells him no. This finally gives Duck the personality of, in my opinion, a cranky old man. I don't know why they're struggling with this question. It's pretty obvious what the biggest thing in the world is. Wait, you don't know? Then I'm not gonna tell you. Yes, I know. What do you mean then tell you? Hey, fuck off, this is my video. No. I don't know what that was. Red Guy asks where they could learn something like this, and the camera pans over to their globe, but nothing happens. He asks again, and then the globe comes to life and...
I'm a computer.
Yep, this guy comes in and steals the show. The computer is another great teacher with some really funny moments. I especially like his voice, it fits a computer really well. Yellow asks the computer the question and then the computer starts to sing about how clever he is. Then he eventually starts asking the group questions like what's their favorite food and what's their blood type. Both Duck and Yellow go along with his shenanigans like normal, but Red Guy isn't having it. He brings up how they already have a laptop and this computer disregards his response. Then when the computer keeps asking questions, Red Guy tells him to shut up, eventually leading him to touch his keyboard, making the computer freak out. This transports the gang into the digital world. This is a really impressive style for a YouTube series back in the 2010s. The computer tells the trio that in the digital world, there's only 3 things to do. Look at various graphs, style your digital self, and digitally dance. They keep showing these 3 things while simultaneously getting faster and faster and devolving into chaos, and we see glimpses of Red Guy in the real world. He's trying to figure out how to turn off the computer, and he follows the computer's power cord, leading him to this room. There's a low budget version of the group, and then the Red Guy's head explodes. I'm gonna say what I've said about the last 3 episodes, which is this episode is great. The computer is a great teacher, like I said before, and his song is really good as well. The digital world is just extremely funny to me. Then there's the ending, which I don't understand. It's really funny, but I'm no theorist, so if you want to know what other people think, then go watch those videos, but I'm not smart enough to come up with my own interpretation. I do like it though, and this ending marks a major shift in the series, but we'll see that in the next short. In terms of the ranking, I say that computer is below time, but above love. Now, let's move on to food. Food starts off with Duck and Yellow Guy sitting at a kitchen table with the feeling that something is different. Red Guy is missing, but the duo don't realize because they are stupid. That is the big shift I alluded to earlier.
No more?
Red Guy, at least for now. So the duo start to get harassed by some food singing about healthy options. A phone rings and the music cuts out and Duck goes over to pick it up. Then the scene changes to Duck in a dark room with a cloth covering his body that has a big hole where his chest is. The camera zooms in on a TV, which shifts the scene back to more wacky shenanigans with the food people, like describing the human body using a house. And Duck is back. Yay, he's alright. A tiny phone rings on the tiny house and Duck picks it up, and then the scene once again shifts to another place with the phone turning into a sandwich. It seems like something doesn't want Duck to hear whatever is on the other line. So the foods start talking about all the stuff that can make your teeth go gray, and during this we keep getting shots of the dark room. Then it's shown that Duck's insides are being eaten by cans, and this is scary as hell. This was the first episode I watched when I was 12, and I was a scaredy cat back then. So this freaked the hell out of me, and I never watched the series again until like 3 years later. Don't ask me why I started with the 5th episode. I don't know. I was a stupid kid. Then the food starts telling Yellow Guy that he shouldn't accept food from a stranger's plate, and this trippy animation starts playing, which looks great. The episode ends with Yellow Guy in the kitchen, which is now dark, with blood dripping from his mouth, and he is now super fat. Yellow Guy ate Duck. Oh my god. I guess Duck kinda deserves it for eating chicken, but still, what the heck.
Get what you fucking deserve!
I hate it, but I also love it. Then, the phone rings again, and Yellow Guy sits there in silence and listens to it ring. Finally, it shifts to the end credits with Red Guy walking away from a phone booth. It seemed it was him trying to call them, maybe to warn them about something. So this short was great. What a shocker. The designs of the teachers are some of my favorites of the series, especially the big steak. But the song, in my opinion, is the worst of the series. It's not bad, but I never really vibed with it. This short, in my opinion, is the second funniest of the YouTube series. All the lies the food people spread is hilarious, especially with everything that will make your teeth go gray. And it is also the creepiest of the series. When the music cuts out and the phone rings, it sends chills down my spine. Then the whole guts being eaten thing and the eating your friend thing, it's just so gross and puts a pit in my stomach. In terms of the ranking, I say this is below love but above creativity. Now, onto the last episode of the series, Dreams. Dreams starts off with Yellow Guy crying in the group's bedroom. He's looking at a photo book of his friends. Then he turns off the light and says goodnight to Red Guy and Duck. That's so sad. But his sleep is interrupted by a talking lamp. He starts to talk, but Yellow Guy ain't having any of it and turns him back off. But the lamp turns back on and transports Yellow Guy into the dream world.
Mr. Krabs?
A cool animated sequence happens, and then we shift back to the real world with Yellow Guy's bed turning into a pit of oil, and he starts to drown. Just warning you, it gets really weird after this, so be ready. The scene shifts to Red Guy in a suit at an office building. He was apparently dreaming, and now we get to see the real world. It is full of red guys, and it is really drab. There's hardly any color, which is a stark contrast to where Yellow Guy is. But it is still amazingly shot, especially the shot of the staircase. It's just so good. Red Guy starts talking to his superior about how it would be cool if a file came to life and starts singing a song, but he shuts him down.
That sounds really boring.
Then the scene shifts to a bar where the Red Guy has a brilliant idea. He gets naked and sings the creativity song from the first short. What a guy. Everyone starts to boo him.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Except for Roy. Yeah, Roy. Yellow Guy's dad from the second short. Then the scene transitions with Red Guy holding a living microphone and the backdrop falls, revealing he's in a dark area with a checkerboard floor. Red Guy discovers a weird console that is displaying the things that is happening to Yellow Guy, so Red Guy tries to stop it by pressing buttons. Every time he presses one, the teacher changes to another one. This goes on for a little bit and we get to see a lot of funny gags, like a saxophone who's trying to help you buy a canoe, and a file that sings the song that Red Guy proposed to his superior. Red Guy starts to change them faster and faster and Yellow Guy is now traumatized. Then we see a hand extending from the darkness that ends up on Red Guy's shoulder. It's Roy's arm. I find it really funny that they didn't have Roy just standing right behind him. No, his arm is just really long. Then Red Guy sees that the console has a plug and he pulls it, saying his famous catchphrase.
I wonder what will happen.
Then it shifts to the trio sitting at a table, but now they are their favorite colors from the first episode. One of my favorite details from the series is that the day is always June 19th, but now the day changes to June 20th. And it ends with the notebook from the first episode opening and starting the creativity song. What an episode. I love how ambiguous the story is. Like, what the heck is happening? Why is there a console controlling the teachers? What does the ending mean? Why is Roy here? And that's how I like it. I love how the real world looks, even though it's drab. It looks so cool and different for a series like this. Poor Yellow Guy got absolutely tortured in this episode. I feel so bad for him. He always gets the short end of the stick. In terms of the ranking, this episode is below love, but above food. Before we get into the conclusion and the final ranking, I want to talk really quickly about Wakey Wakey. Years after the YouTube series ended, the creators made a trailer called Wakey Wakey, which was for their upcoming TV show. I was so excited. Not only because we were going to get way more content for Don't Hug Me I'm Scared, but it was going to be on TV. That is just so inspirational. Years went by with no news about the show, except it was being played at some film festivals and people seemed to enjoy it. But then, randomly, the trailer was deleted from the channel and we were left in the dark for a while. I was pissed. I thought this meant that there was going to be no show anymore and I got really scared as well. Like, why the hell would they delete the trailer if the show is still coming out? We know what happened now. The creators said that this show was a lot like South Park and wanted to be not that. At first I was angry and sad about this, but when they dropped a trailer for their newly revamped show, I was back to being excited. Then the show dropped and I was a little disappointed at first. I don't know what I was thinking, because I rewatched the series like a week later and it was fantastic. I think it was because I really wanted to see the Wakey Wakey show, but now looking back on it, I feel like the show wouldn't have worked. Don't get me wrong, I trust the creators, so it was probably going to be really good, but it was far off from the YouTube series. So moving away from that and creating this more isolated series was the right thing to do in my opinion. Still, it would be nice if they released at least the pilot since it was finished. It would be really interesting and the fans would go crazy for it. Maybe just drop it on the channel one day. I know there's probably like legal stuff preventing them from doing that, but I just hate lost media. If you want to hear me talking about the TV series, I do have a video on that. Now, let's get into my final words. That's the series, and what an amazing experience it is. Don't Hug Me I'm Scared inspires the heck out of me because the creators got to make what they wanted to, and they did it even though it was weird and it was still successful. This eventually got them an actual TV show, which is just so inspirational. If you somehow haven't watched either the TV show or the YouTube series, go watch it now. They are 100% worth your time. Now, the final rankings. In 6th place is Creativity. Even though it's in 6th place, it is still really good. In 5th place is Food. Definitely the creepiest episode of the series. In 4th place, Dreams. What a great way to end the series. In 3rd place is Love. This one has my favorite song of the bunch. In 2nd place, Computer. Just an overall fantastic episode. And of course, 1st place is time. I just love time. It's a perfect Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared episode. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I want to know what your ranking is of the series. And if you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.